To fully understand the story, you must watch it from beginning to conclusion. This narrative is for people who are dissatisfied with their lives and think that others are happier than them. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. That way, you'll stay updated with more valuable videos on personal growth, relationships, and self-improvement. As we delve into this story, we will learn how our perceptions and comparisons often blind us to the beauty of our own lives. So, listen closely to this inspiring story that teaches us the importance of self-acceptance and finding joy within the life we already have. A raven once resided in a big, thriving forest. This raven was unlike any other. He was extremely dissatisfied with his existence. Every day, he watched other species with jealousy, feeling that they had happier and more full lives than he did. He couldn't understand why his life seemed so dreary and meaningless. As he perched on a branch of a great oak tree, his heart heavy with grief, he began to cry. His tears rang through the forest, a melancholy sound that drew the attention of a monk sitting under the tree in meditation. The monk, lost in nature, felt a drop fall on his cheek. He opened his eyes in surprise and saw the raven in tears. Concerned and filled with empathy, the monk softly called out to him, "What's wrong, my friend? Why are you crying so bitterly?" The raven responded, his voice shaking with pain, "O wise one, my existence is full of misery. I am the most despised creature in the wild. Humans avoid me, throw stones at me in disdain, and no one feeds me out of charity. I am regularly confronted with hostility and contempt wherever I go. It would be better to accept death than to continue living this miserable existence." The monk, struck by the raven's terrible tale, gazed at him with sympathy. He talked gently, seeking to impart wisdom to the distraught bird. "My friend," he started, "happiness does not depend on our exterior circumstances. It is a state of mind, a decision we make. We must learn to be content in whatever situations we find ourselves in." But the raven, overwhelmed by his anguish, was unable to comprehend the monk's words. He continued to cry, his tears reflecting his deep anguish. Given that his words had little impact, the monk decided to offer the crow an alternate choice. "Do not be discouraged, my friend," he replied gently. "Tell me, what would you wish to be if you could choose? I have a mantra that can change you into anything you want." Hearing this, the raven's eyes brightened up with hope. He said, "Oh, blessed one, if you could grant me this wish, I'd like to be a swan. They are so gorgeous and graceful. They must be among the happiest creatures alive." The monk nodded thoughtfully. "Very good. But before I convert you, I recommend you speak with a swan. Inquire whether he is actually content with his life. Then come back to me and we'll see what we can accomplish." The raven, hungry for happiness, consented and flew off in search of a swan. After some time, he discovered a swan flying smoothly on the surface of a tranquil pond, its feathers as white as snow and reflecting the sunshine in a stunning show. The raven approached the swan with admiration in his gaze. "Oh, swan," he exclaimed, "you are so elegant and beautiful. Your feathers are as pure as milk, and everyone admires you everywhere you go. You must be the happiest bird in the world." The swan stared at the raven and let out a deep sigh. "No, my friend," he said, his voice filled with regret. "I'm not as happy as you think. Though I appear gorgeous on the outside, my life is not without its difficulties. There are so many lovely colors in the world, but I have none. I am plain, just white, a color that some may consider drab. I've always coveted the parrot's bright, colorful plumage. Surely, the parrot is the happiest bird on the planet." When the raven heard this, he was astonished but resolved to continue his quest for happiness. He thanked the swan before flying off in quest of a parrot. After some while, he discovered a parrot perched on a branch, its feathers gleaming in green, blue, and red. The raven approached and exclaimed, "Oh, parrot, you are so vivid and radiant. You must be the happiest bird in the world." The parrot looked to the raven, its eyes filled with regret. "No, my friend," it said softly, "I'm not as pleased as you think. Yes, my feathers are stunning, but they have also made me a target. People enjoy capturing parrots like me, and keeping them in cages for their enjoyment. I live in constant fear of being apprehended and imprisoned. My bright colors are a blessing and a curse. I've often wanted to be like the peacock, with its even more spectacular plumage. Surely, the peacock is the happiest bird in existence. When the raven heard this, he was surprised once more. He thanked the parrot and went in search of a peacock. After traveling for hours, he discovered a peacock in a zoo, surrounded by crowds enjoying its magnificent display of feathers. The raven stared as the peacock spread its multicolored plumage, the eyes on its feathers gleaming in the sunlight, eliciting screams of astonishment from those nearby. When the crowd scattered, the raven approached the peacock and exclaimed, "Oh, peacock, you are the most beautiful bird I have ever seen. Every day, thousands of people come to adore you. Unlike me, whom people push away in disgust, you must be the happiest bird on the planet." The peacock gave the raven a tired expression and answered, "My friend, I've always thought I was the most beautiful and happy bird in the world. But this beauty comes at a high cost. Because of my beautiful feathers, I am stuck in this cage, condemned to a life in which I am nothing more than an object for people to admire. People pluck my feathers to produce decorative goods, and each feather removed seems like a piece of my soul is ripped away. My existence is one with constraint and sorrow. In this zoo, I've seen that you, the raven, are the only bird not kept in a cage. You can fly wherever you want, and no one will try to capture you. For days, I envied you and imagined that if I were a raven, I could travel the globe free of the chains that bind me." The crow was astonished when he heard this. He'd always thought he was the most unlucky creature, but here was the peacock, the pinnacle of beauty, envious of his freedom. It was a profound discovery for him. With a renewed feeling of understanding, the raven returned to the monk. He landed alongside the monk and said, "O wise one, I've realized that every creature has its own challenges and that happiness does not come from being someone else. I met the swan, the parrot, and the peacock, and none of them seemed completely pleased. They all desired something they lacked, just as I did. But now I realize that true pleasure comes from being comfortable with who we are and what we have. I no longer want to be anything but a raven." The monk grinned. His eyes sparkled with insight. "You have learned a valuable lesson today, my friend," he told me. "We frequently look at others and assume they are happier than we are, but we forget to recognize that everyone has their own struggles to fight. We make pointless comparisons, failing to realize that true contentment comes from within. The world's happiest person is not the one who has everything, but the one who is content with what they have." With a light heart, the raven thanked the monk and flew away, relishing his newfound freedom. He no longer envied other birds or desired a different life. For the first time, he felt deeply grateful for being who he was, a raven free to soar throughout the skies. So the raven learned to find satisfaction in his own feathers, learning that the key to fulfillment is not to become someone else, but to appreciate the unique beauty of one's own existence. Thank you for watching this video, which serves as a reminder that happiness is found in appreciating what we already have rather than missing out on something. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on self-improvement and personal growth.